The first moments when you approach your work are critical. This is a technique I use to make sure I don't slip out into distraction and procrastination. Quick little story to help explain the method. Meet Sam. Sam is an ex-alcoholic. Well, sort of. He's managed to make it 3 days, 72 hours and counting, without taking a sip. For someone with, say, a 10-year AA sobriety chip in their pocket, that may be pitiful, but for Sam, well, he can't remember when he last strung together so many consecutive hours sober. So, it's something. It's progress. For years, Sam's been a bit of a deadbeat. He'd be the first to admit it, but today he's claiming a second chance at a decent life. Sam has a new job to go to and he's determined not to mess this one up. As he fixes his hair in the mirror, he thinks to himself, can it still be called a second chance if this is like my 500th second chance? He shrugs off the self-doubt, flicks back a stray curl that just won't stay in place, and heads out the door. 15 minutes later, he reaches the entrance to his new gig. He stops to get his bearings before walking in. Above, in an all-too-familiar script, it reads, The White Lion Pub. It's his favorite bar. That's right. Sam is an ex-alcoholic who wants to earn a living pouring drinks for other people. Crazy, right? Of course, Sam knows it's beyond ill-advised. He knows, as a bartender, he'll be around expensive bottles in the storeroom with no one looking. He knows he'll encounter suppliers bringing in samples and tipsy patrons insisting on sharing a celebratory shot. He knows that, after a long hard shift, it'll be beyond tough to ignore the siren call of a cold, refreshing pint. Still, Sam brushes aside all those concerns, takes a deep breath in, and with a fiery resolve to make it work, he walks into the bar. Is Sam successful? Does Sam manage to make it through his first shift, then the next, then a succession of others, all without breaking his oath to stay sober? I made up this story, so I get to decide. The first thing I have to do is answer the basic question, is it possible for Sam to be successful? The short answer is yes. It's of course unlikely, perhaps ridiculously so, but yes, it is possible to work at a bar and never drink a sip. Off the bat, he could, and he for sure should, tell everyone he works with that he is sober and is not to be offered any alcohol ever. He could and again should devise a strategy, perhaps memorize a canned line, a routine that serves to inform patrons that he is staying dry. But hey, there's no judgment. More for you, pal, wink. Of course, that isn't a foolproof strategy, and Sam has a track record of being a damn fool when it comes to drinking. So, what else is required for him to make it in this preposterous role as a sober bartender? In a word, Sam has to be friggin' careful. He has to be on guard at all times. He has to be deliberate with everything, from the first second he stands in front of those beer-delivering spouts, to when he closes up shop and he's the last one there. He has to be there, present to his urges and cravings, mindful of his emotions and the psychological pains that drove him to drink in the first place. He has to be relentlessly observant of the nagging thought patterns that aim to make him cave with a neat and rational excuse. Sam can pull it off, but the good Lord knows, the poor sod will have to be freaking careful. What does this have to do with you? Understand, each time you sit down to do some work, you are Sam. You are an ex-alcoholic trying to work as a bartender. Think about it. Like Sam, you're trying to earn an honest living, but you're deciding to do so in a place that's entirely filled with your vices. For Sam, that place is a bar with booze on tap. For you, it's the virtual space of your computer, with memes and videos and breaking news also on tap, always a mere click or two away. Like Sam, this is all optional. Sam's choice is reckless, and he could just as well serve French fries as he could beer, but I could make a similar case for you. You do have other options. You could throw your laptop in a river and figure out a way to work the land for food or something else less extreme, but you get my point. But you don't. You won't. You have your cherished dreams, and your dreams require you to use a laptop. Period. So, the bottom line is this, regardless of the circumstances, every time you sit down to work, you are doing the equivalent of trying to work at a bar as an alcoholic. So what to do about it? Like Sam, you can start with the low-hanging fruits, make it harder for you to access your vice. Sam is smart enough to know not to rely entirely on willpower, so he makes his coworkers promise not to give him a drink. Similarly, you can make your browser promise not to show you Reddit or YouTube using a web blocker, but you can't block the whole internet. Besides, that's a band-aid solution, useful and fine if you're bleeding, but we need to address the core of the problem. So, I use the AWAAB technique, the AWAAB method. Here's what to do when you sit down for a work session. Rather than traipsing in as per usual, pause in front of the bar's entrance. Keep your computer off and your phone out of reach. Breathe. Take a stock of your surroundings. Take stock of your body. Allow your thoughts to arrive at the task at hand. Let the thoughts, feelings, and emotions come as they are. Let the three usual suspects make their appearance. Overwhelm. You have this thing to do, with a great many steps, many of which are uncertain. There's the upcoming effort of it all, the tedious mountain to climb. But you're still at the base staring up. You don't know where to begin, yet you do know where to begin, and that's anywhere. So really you don't. But you do, so just start. But again, where? How? Regret. Why didn't I get this going yesterday? Why again did I wait until the last minute? Why did I not pay attention earlier and take note of what to do so I wouldn't be feeling all unorganized and unprepared? Resistance. That ugh, I just don't feel like it feeling. That sensation that makes the task so flagrantly unappealing, almost grotesque. Overwhelm, regret, resistance. These are bad feelings. As I've learned, bad feelings often lead to not just a strong desire or a craving for relief, but an outright compulsion. And what sort of thing have you programmed your brain to associate with instant and amazing relief? Your vices, of course. You're going to have to feel them. Be there in the present moment. Feel the craving for your vice. Sure, this will be unpleasant or even painful, but it's absolutely necessary. The hard-working people you admire aren't immune to bad feelings. They allow themselves to experience them. They observe them. This is mindfulness, and it's the key to processing and managing bad feelings. 3. Write out, on paper, all the subtasks involved with the thing. Break it down as much as possible into small actionable bites. Perhaps there are other things to do today. Laundry. Reply to Fred's email. Put it all down as a simple list. 4. Select the subtask you want to start with. Say it out loud. Archer it in your mind. Better would be to write it on a post-it and tack it on the monitor. This is what I am doing now and nothing else. 5. Start your computer. Breathe. Take the startup time to again get mindful of the array of thoughts, feelings, and emotions that come on through. 6. Set a timer for 30 minutes. If you have a Pomodoro app, you can use that. Sam would do best not to think, man, I have 20K in debt. I need to work for 435 hours to pay it all off. Let's do it straight. No, he should walk in thinking, okay, I will do this 2-hour stretch, do it carefully and well, then take a rest. That's it. 7. Wait. Observe any residual resistance. Observe any cravings. Do not force yourself to start. Wait some more. 8. When it dissipates enough for it to seem like starting up on the work wouldn't be such a bad idea, enter the bar carefully. Gently allow yourself to start, mindful of the movement of your hands and the workings of the mind. 9. When the timer rings, take a break from the work. Get up and stretch and give your eyes something distant to look at. If you feel good about yourself, allow yourself to feel it and see if you can mentally pin that good feeling with the work. If you don't feel particularly good, just continue to be mindful of it all. 10. When it comes back time to work, start back up with 4 and do it all again until you are satisfied with the work session. Like any technique, it can sound great on paper, but in reality, there will be a lot of trial and error, and my biggest piece of advice to you is to be compassionate and understanding with yourself. What you're trying to do is difficult as it will be for Sam, a freaking alcoholic trying to work at a bar. The odds are stacked against you, but it can be done. It will be done if you're careful, and you stick with the process long enough. Here are the bad habits ruining your life. 1. Using your phone, tablet, or computer in bed. Many people are unaware of the harms of this very bad habit in terms of sleep and productivity. Blue shortwave light, very present on sunny mornings, for example, plays an important role in mood, energy, and sleep quality. When you wake up, when your eyes are directly exposed to it, this blue light stops the production of the sleep hormone, melatonin, and makes you more alert. In the afternoon, the sun's rays decline, allowing your body to start producing melatonin again and gradually tire you out. At night, your brain does not expect to be exposed to blue light. He is therefore very sensitive to it. Most of the devices you use in the evening, computers, tablets, and mobile phones, emit bright shortwave blue light that lights up your face directly. This exposure deteriorates melatonin production and interferes with sleep and sleep quality. As we have all seen, a bad night has disastrous effects. The best thing you can do is not to use these devices after dinner. Television is not disturbing to most people as long as they are within a reasonable distance of the screen. 2. Being addicted to the internet. 15 minutes of concentration are needed to fully immerse yourself in a task. Once launched, you enter a state of increased productivity, the flow. Research shows that people in a state of flow are 5 times more productive than in normal times. When you detach yourself from your work because you are itching to watch the news, Facebook, a sports result, or other, you get out of this state. It will take another 15 minutes of continuous concentration to return. If you disconnect too often during your work, you can spend a whole day without being in the flow. 3. Checking your phone during a conversation. There's nothing more irritating than watching you read a text message in the middle of a conversation or even taking a quick look at your phone. When you engage in a conversation, devote all your attention to it. You'll see discussions are more pleasant and effective when you get involved. 4. Receiving too many notifications. They are a nightmare for productivity. Studies have shown that throwing yourself on your phone and email box as soon as the alert sounds greatly reduces your productivity. Receiving a notification each time a message arrives may generate a feeling of productivity, but it is a decoy. Instead of working at the pace of your notifications, group all your emails, SMSs, and check them in predefined time slots. Tests have shown that this method works. 5. Saying yes when you should say no. Research at the University of California at San Francisco shows that the harder it is to say no, the more likely you are to feel stressed, burned out, or even depressed. Each of these symptoms affects self-control. Saying no is indeed a major challenge for many people. It's a strong word, but don't be afraid to use it. When appropriate, people with emotional intelligence avoid phrases such as "I don't think I can." Saying no to something is a sign of respect for your present commitments and because it gives you the opportunity to honor them properly. Remember that saying no is an act of self-control that increases your future mastery by avoiding the negative effects associated with excessive involvement. 6. Thinking about toxic people. You can't escape these people who permanently irritate you. So every time you catch yourself thinking about them, tell yourself how lucky you are to be friends with someone much more positive. The last thing you should do is think about the people who don't count instead of the people who do. 7. Do several things at once in meetings. Always devote yourself fully to what you are doing. If a meeting doesn't deserve your attention, you don't have to do anything about it. If it is necessary, get as much out of it as possible. Doing several things at once in a meeting is frowned upon because it gives the impression that you think you are more important than others.